Hey everyone, how are you? It is Damon Bodine, Larson's real estate salesperson from the Corcoran Group. Hope you are doing well. As you get a chance to watch this, it's Tuesday here where I am. It's sunny today. I'm going to head outside for a little while and hopefully enjoy the still cold, but could be colder weather. Anyways, people have been asking me to do house hacking analysis in just different price points, right? So a lot of the analysis that I've been doing is in like that $800 to $1 million price point, right? And there's someone sent me a property today in Bed-Stuy, and they want me to take a look at it. And so I'm going to do that and just share with you guys what I am seeing. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into it. So the property that we're looking at is, forgive me, it is 226 Madison Street in Bed-Stuy. So this area of Bed-Stuy is a little bit closer to the Clinton Hill border. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second, as soon as Google loads. Where's my little, all right, so this is actually like a pretty, if you like restaurants and food and all that stuff, it's a pretty nice location, right? So this area is right here, right? Clinton Hill is right here, right? You're not far from things like the Barclays Center here. I mean, you know, probably still a train, right? Prospect Park, still a couple miles away, things like that, right? So a pretty awesome area. Definitely in this price point is, in my opinion, actually not too bad for this house, right? So these guys were on the market and they started on the market at 1,459, did one reduction to 1,389, second reduction to 1,325. Let's see. So okay, so here's, all right, so they're not a brownstone, you know, Bed-Stuy is known for its brownstones, things like that, right? This is definitely probably a mid 2000s build. I'm gonna assume, you know, they build a lot of these houses with the parking garage here in front of the house, right? Okay, so could benefit from some upgrades, probably moving condition, right? You know, this unit looks pretty good. Washer dryers, all that good stuff, right? All right. And this floor plan, let's see if we could see it. And not so much. So this, anyways, your 3 bedrooms are going to be bedroom, 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 bedroom. Back here, and let's see, this looks like a garage here, basement here. All right, or that's the rear yard there. Looks like we might see something of, I see 1, 2, 3 kitchens. Okay, I can see what's going on here. So my assumption of this property is that right now they have an illegal kitchen in the basement. Not the end of the world, but the seller, to do something like an FHA or a community bank loan, the seller is going to have to remove it, right? I don't know if they want to. All right, but so let's just jump right into this. All right, so I'm going to start plugging this into the calculator. All right. Let's see, we were making a copy here. All right. Okay, so we're going to say purchase price of 1,325. I'm going to do a quick, I'm just going to see if this will qualify for any community bank loans, but I don't think it's going to. Let's see. Nope. Upper income level. So one would need to use a conventional loan or like an FHA loan for this. Let's say a 5% down FHA loan. Okay. All right. So basically what we're going to do is just putting in the conditions now. Okay. Let's say you're going to do, I have no idea on renovation. I'm going to say maybe you're going to do 15K if you're going to make new paint, things like that, right? This could obviously be a lot higher. We'll see, right? All right. So first thing that we're gonna, this is basically what I did is I based this on full ask, 5% down. Current rates on FHA were today at 5.8. All right, so yeah, remember on FHA, you have to pay what's called the upfront mortgage insurance premium, which is 1.75% of the purchase price, as well as the monthly mortgage insurance. Usually that down payment number is 0.85. So I do not love FHA loans for the long term, because as you can see, that's a pretty big nut, right? Just on mortgage insurance. Okay, so let's talk about the rentals here. All right. So I am going to be looking. So what I did here is I pulled this is a map of 3-bedroom. I'm just going to show you guys what I did really quick. All right, 3-bedroom apartments in Bedford-Stuyvesant. Okay. It's a really good rental market in Bed-Stuy. So our property is right around here. Okay, so I'm gonna be looking at the 3 beds in this general area. Okay, so they're on the market for $4K. They are in the market for $44.95. They're in the market for $39. I see a $3,500 here. $88.95. That's really high. $3,900. 47, 43, 38. Okay. I'm just going to be a little bbit conservative here, so you guys can see that the rentals are, they're high. 97.50. That's not what we're talking about, right? Let's say that you're getting 3,800 for the rental. I think that's doable. Probably need to get some love in that unit, right? That's why I think this renovation might go a long way. But let's say it's doable, right? Could be less. It's hard to say without actually visiting to see what we're working with, right? In terms of like layout, room sizes, things like that, right? Now I want to go and look at, so this next 3-bed, right? This is usually the owner will live in one of these bedrooms and lease out the other 2. Now, I believe, if I'm thinking about this correctly, we're usually looking at about maybe $1,300-ish bucks a room in Bed-Stuy for that location. So I'm using Hot Pads right now just to sort of map this out. Hot Pads is a website that has a ton of room-by-room rentals. All right. Okay, so this, I doubt that's a real room. 750, 1820, 2200, 950, 1750. Okay, so what's here at 252 in Madison? All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so what they're doing is, this is just, I got it. It's a room. Basically, you have a shared room. You're paying 1750, 2200, 1275, 1390. I believe that we're going to get you around $1,300 a room, okay? So let's say that you're getting 2,600 one, right? Yeah. Now, essentially what that's going to give us is, while you're still living here, a monthly income of 6,400 bucks, okay? Now we're going to go through the rest of this, right? I'm not going to worry about this stuff so much. The other thing I want to focus, actually, there's one other part, right? Because this property has parking, as you can see here, I believe that you can rent, let's say that you don't want it yourself, you can rent this spot out. I'm going to say that you're easily getting 250 bucks there. So I'm going to add that to this number, okay? Because we want to make sure that we've just got everything accounted for, right? So we're going to go 2850 on that, okay? Maybe you can rent it to one of the tenants, whatever, right? Okay. So that gets up to $66.50 in income. All right. So let's just look at something. Let's see what their tax bill is. They've got approximately $600 a month. If you've been following my other videos, you would know that most New York City properties are not fully assessed. So it's not as simple as just using a property tax rate per se. So we're trying to get there by just basically looking at the actual tax bill itself, usually broker report, and we'll verify that with Department of Finance, things like that. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to go with 0.54 because that's going to get us close to 596. Okay. Two-family insurance, 0.15% to 0.30. I can't guarantee you that insurance will be what it is, right? But that's around the range, right? MIP, this comes with an FHA loan. No property management, you will manage this one yourself. Remember, utilities, what I'm basically assuming here is that people in unit 2 are going to pay their own utilities while 2 of your roommates will also pay theirs. So although it gives like a per unit cost here, I'm going to say that your personal monthly utility cost is going to range from about $100. Okay. We're going to save 5% for maintenance and CapEx every month, and that is 5% of the gross rent roll, and then 5% for any vacancy, right? These are very low vacancy areas, but let's just do that, okay? All right, so in today's world, that means your cash flow is, it's not cash flow positive, right? We'll just say that, right? So basically, this scenario, you're coming out of pocket every month for $3,154, right? However, of that $3,154, remember that every time you make a mortgage payment, a portion of that payment goes towards principal and then interest, right? So your first payment, $1,300 of that will go towards principal, right? And just to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like over time, if you look on the monthly calculator here, there's in 32, field 33 rather, that's where your principal pay down is calculated over like the whole 360 month term of the loan. So you a little bit more of that payment every month goes towards principal. Where you really start doing your damage as a homeowner is, excuse me, I don't know what's going on with all this stuff. Well, I've got all these random top stories or whatever here, but where you really start doing your damage is in like year 9 and 10, right? So year 10, you're up to 2191 already in principal, things like that, right? And then what's God willing, you keep this home for 20 years, right? You're in year 20, right? 4,100. So basically, one of the nice benefits of 30-year fixed is that, your mortgage payment always stays the same, right? But every month it gets a little bit better, right? Anywho, in this circumstance, what we're going to be assuming here are rent appreciation of 4%, price appreciation of 4% annually. These are kind of our goals here. This is basically along the lines of what's happened in New York historically. Now, obviously, both of these generally price appreciation has been more like 6 or 7% in the outer boroughs, and rent appreciation has been more like 8 to 10%. However, I can't guarantee you those things will happen in the future, so I like to just kind of look conservatively, right? So these are the numbers we used, okay? So anyways, if nothing changes outside of just this, you never are able to change the loan, nothing else, right? This is kind of where you're at, right? Basically, this is your sort of annual kind of net loss of cash out of pocket. And it gets a little better every year. Remember, you've got the combination of rent growth, appreciation, debt pay down, things like that. Basically, the break point on this loan is in about year 13. That's saying that you never moved, right? And you're just getting that same sort of doubt, right? But there's a lot of things that are going to change, right? So remember, you're renting each of your rooms for $1,300. plus another $250 on the parking spot, right? So let's say that you now are going to be renting your room, right? And you're going to be renting your own room for another $1,300, right? That's when you move out. Now, boom, this makes a big difference, right? Because now that cash flow number, you're still paying out of pocket to have the property under these terms, right? But instead of $3,100, now, now with your principal pay down, you're more like actually $600, right? Now look at how that shifts the long-term aspect of this, right? Now, okay, so that's still just okay, right? But let's assume some other things happen here, right? Let's assume that instead of this 5.8% interest rate and this 0.85% monthly MIP, we're able to eventually refinance out of this FHA loan into a conventional loan. So why would we do that? Number one, let's hope that the rates are better. And number two, on conventional loans, you only pay mortgage insurance until you have 20% equity in the property, right? So meaning that, let's say if the property is appreciated and let's say the property is now worth 1.5, right? Just for, let's say that in 4 years, that is the case, right? Essentially, that would mean that your loan amount would be under, so long as your loan amount is 1, 2, or under, and you've gotten to that number, now you've got 20% equity, right? Now let's also assume that that you're going to refinance in a better environment than the one we're in today. And I'll show you why I think that's actually possible, okay? So I don't care about the 80s and all this stuff, right? What I care about is the interest rate environment from basically what I call the modern era of mortgage. It's 2010 to today, okay? So in 2010, average 30-year fixed is around 5%, right? 2011 is around 4.5. 2012, it was around 3.6. 2014, around 4.4. 2015, around 3.86. 16, 3.66. Basically, you can see what I'm saying here, right? 4.13. You peaked a little bit in 2018, 4.81. 2019. This is like actually pre-pandemic, right? So we're down to like 3.7 and 3.73. And then this is when the Fed sort of opened the floodgates here. That's when we started having like a 2 handle at times in front of the 30-year fix. And then this is what's been happening here. All right. So I'm going to make a couple of assumptions. My first assumption is that we can get this rate down to 4% over time, or 4.25%, let's just say conservatively, right? When you do that, you're also not going to have mortgage insurance anymore. Okay, so boom, that's going to go away too. So now if nothing was to change other than your rents, remember you're holding each of these as rooms, and you're having the parking, and then you're just keeping that rental in unit 2. You've refinanced and you've now eliminated MIP, you're actually cash flow positive every month. That's before principal pay down, okay? So you can see here, now equity and cash flow looks a lot better. So, and these are average monthly gains, remember, right? So, usually about 101, and of course you're gonna keep going up over time, right? Now let's say that today, instead of paying these numbers, right, you actually, which is what, 53,000 and 22,000, right? Let's say that instead of paying these numbers, right, people are always worried about getting the price down. Sometimes it's about getting actually what are called seller concessions on the terms. Let's just say that we can somehow get the seller to give us what the FHA max is 6% seller's concession. Knock out all of our closing costs and knock out that. So there's $73,000 back in your pocket. Let's say that now you put $20,000 more into the property And now you're still down in cash out of pocket by around 50K. But you probably maybe can even improve these rents a little bit, right? Now, so the key here in this is a lot of random jarbled stuff, right? The reason I'm showing this all to you guys is for a few reasons. Number one, remember that rents are kind of the heartbeat of the house hacking strategy. The rooms can do really well. Other inclusions like parking, super valuable, right? And in theory, you want to actually project conservatively, right? Number two, in this environment, sometimes we can get these numbers, down, right? But let's say that you were like, you know what, the hell of it, I want to pay those numbers. I'd rather have a 6% concession on the price, which is, and so let's say that you're buying this at 94% of the ask, right? Okay. Now, I'm just going back to you guys basically to show you what this would look like if just a couple more kind of tight things and we'll tie the video up, right? Let's say that we're getting a better deal here, right? I know that they just reduced recently, so they're unlikely to take a deal that far below their ask today, but you never know. So let's say that they did, right? And we were able to do the FHA loan and put down 5% instead of 3.5. We could, you say you paid all your closing costs, about 4% in this price point, about 175 in upfront PMI, right? We brought back the MIP, but again, we still assume that you're moving out after year one and you're now renting that room. All right, so you're still making this payment, but now that principal pay down is, pretty solid, right? And you're almost you're actually, even at these rates, you're basically cash flow positive in year 6, right? But I honestly believe that in today's world, if you can get either this cash savings out of pocket or this cash savings and this long-term savings in the purchase price, I like this strategy a hell of a lot more personally, because because I like to have more money in my pocket to do other things with, right? And now, because I know eventually that 5.8 is going to go down here. That will change everything, right? So anyways, this is, of course, if we were looking at this house, we would just, of course, do the analysis. We don't know if these rental numbers are accurate. We don't know if the renovation budget is accurate. We don't know what's going on in the seller, what's going on in the house as to why maybe it didn't sell. I assume there's probably something with tenants there. I saw a kitchen in the basement, which usually means like potential red flags, but you never know, right? But anyways, we'll keep doing these in quote unquote pricier neighborhoods, right? Because remember, in pricier neighborhoods, a few things are going to happen. Number one, your rent growth is probably going to be higher over time. More desire, people want to live there, the rent goes up, right? Number two, your appreciation is going to go up, right? And Bed-Stuy, 226 Madison, right? Within half a mile of this property, there's probably 10 houses that are sold for $2 million, right? It's not going to be this one, right? But you see there's growth potential depending on how you think about the asset long term, right? Number three, you got to think about your debt structure, right? Part of this high rate environment, right, is if you can kind of forecast for the future, rates will go down, right? And eventually, when they do go down, that's when you can strike, and that's when you can make mega savings on your monthlies, right? So use the high rate environment now to negotiate with the seller, but you use the low rate environment in the future to refinance, right? That means that you're not trying to compete when there's like a flood of buyers and rates go back to 4, 3.5%, because they will at some point, right? It's just, look at the credit cycle history of the United States, right? We're a nation that wants to improve credit for everybody, right? We want people to buy houses and cars and everything else, right? So that will happen. And then think about things like rent growth. Think about things like rent per room. You know, we didn't even talk about the Airbnb strategy of this property, but this would be a good location for nightly room leases if you didn't want to have roommates, for example. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to look at it. I can go into this more if it's of interest. And we'll be back with more deal analysis soon, my friends. Hope you have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.